Artists and entrepreneurs open galleries and shops in an area where the rent is affordable. Now, as they become successful, the area becomes popular, attracting larger businesses and higher income residents. And that growing demand pushes up rent and lease prices, often driving out the longtime residents and original businesses in that area. This is Korea's version of gentrification, what we took a look at in part 1 of this series. Problem identified. Now, is there a viable solution? Gentrification, a new urban trend. Our news feature tonight, the last of our 2-part series.
How should Seoul change? That was the fundamental question behind this international symposium held under the theme Artist Gentrification and Urban Regeneration. Experts discussed gentrification case studies from other countries and the possible lessons that Seoul could learn from them.
I think there are very few cases of where gentrification has been successfully slowed down or stopped. The only way, I think, in which it's possible to control the process is through some form of city planning, where the city actually restricts housing changes to certain groups.
New York City, which has a longer history of gentrification than Seoul, has a resident-based committee called Community Board that participates in the city's urban planning and development processes. The board's requests aren't legally binding, but the city takes most of them into consideration. Across the Atlantic, the UK has a national network of regional committees called Locality that empowers neighborhoods to form organizations and manage community issues on their own. Back in Korea, where gentrification has become the talk of the town, Seoul's eastern district of Seongdong-gu, for the first time in the country, enacted an ordinance last September to protect tenants from rising property values. The district office followed examples from overseas to form an independent residents committee that has the authority to allow or restrict businesses that wish to move into the district.
If high-end bars and big franchise stores move in, they will destroy the district's commercial ecosystem. To prevent that, we created a committee comprised of local residents, including landlords, regional representatives, and artists.
The motivation behind such assertive action are the rising concerns regarding gentrification in the Seongsu-dong area. Once a dull industrial neighborhood of factories, cheap rents attracted many artisans, which in turn transformed the area into a haven for high-quality handmade shoes. Empty factories and warehouses became galleries, while old houses turned into ateliers for shoemakers or cafes with a unique character.
Before, this was a desolate factory area and the streets were all grey. But now there's a street just for handmade shoe stores, and a lot of young students and socially conscious companies have moved in. So there's a younger spirit, more vitality, and a brighter landscape.
However, being such a distinctive neighborhood as it sounds, Seongsu-dong's business owners are worried.
This neighborhood is becoming more hip these days. On weekends, we're getting more visitors, so it's becoming more active commercially. But I'm worried the rent might go up.
Korea's law guarantees a maximum period of 5 years for a rent contract at one location, which in other words means that once a contract is 5 years old, the landlord is free to ask the tenant to move out. So to help the tenants, the district office has built box shops or renovated containers where evicted businesses will be allowed to temporarily move in for a cheap rent starting next February.
If business owners are forced to move far, they're going to lose their regular customers, so we are making it possible for them to relocate nearby.
On the heels of these measures is the Seoul Metropolitan Government's announcement of its anti-gentrification plan last month. In essence, the city will mediate between landlords and tenants in order to reach peaceful agreements through providing financial and legal support for both sides. And if that fails, rescue evicted tenants with alternate spaces with cheap rent fees.
Seoul plans to develop various measures that can help out small-scale entrepreneurs and allow multiple stakeholders of regional communities to coexist.
But are government policies enough? Experts point out that voluntary participation on the part of the residents and tenants must come first in order to achieve substantial change.
The residents, not government bodies, know better about a particular area's problems and how to bring about solutions. Expanding this kind of voluntary community participation is one solution to gentrification.
Change in cities is often led by capital and governmental decisions. But in the end, it's the people who are affected by those changes. To protect them against the downsides of gentrification, the solution lies in communication and cooperation.